Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Goddamn Gamecube. Greg and Riley are your hosts today, and today we are talking about the Game Awards. I was invited to attend in person. It was my first time attending the Game Awards, and so we are going to talk about the history of the Game Awards, what it was like being on the ground for them, and we're going to go through it all. So Riley, why don't you take it away?
Yes, thank you, Greg. I think maybe it makes sense to start with a little history here as far as the Game Awards go. Produced and hosted by our dear friend, Canadian games journalist Geoff Keighley, as a successor to the Spike Video Game Awards. I don't know, some of our audience may be a little too young for that, actually, but that ran from 2003 to 2012. And the first ceremony for the Game Awards that Geoff started was December 5th, 2014, going on a bit longer than I thought. I was just like, oh, that is a fairly long amount of time now. But I thought it was interesting. So when it started, Geoff apparently secured backing from several publishers, as well as the big three console manufacturers, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and invested $1 million of his own funds in the project.
And my note I have here is, where did Geoff Keighley get $1 million? Did that strike you as interesting?
For a Canadian games journalist? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it was just like his involvement with Spike was maybe a little bit more prolific than I know he had been. This has been like a lifelong passion for him. Like I know, like he even in his teens, he was in on it. But as far as $1 million of his own funds, like God bless him. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of money.
Very interesting. And notably, he has also rebuffed many pickup offers from network television.
So I did find this surprising. I remember before attending the Game Awards in December, I watched many of them. I don't think it was all of them, but I've watched many of them. And it's either it's like live streamed on YouTube or something like that. And I just remember it was always on like a Thursday night, kind of like right around Thursday night football, and you'd kind of go to YouTube live, and I would like mirror it to my television. So
yeah.
I do think it's surprising that it's not on network TV. You know, I won't spoil the experience yet, but I mean, it is in a very nice theater that's packed, and I'm surprised they don't take, the ads, or they wouldn't want like network, like Prime TV. They don't want the advertisement exposure. I don't know, but do you have thoughts on this?
I think like maybe from Geoff's perspective, because he is it's seemingly a little bit more viewer and consumer conscious than the average person who would organize something like this. So I think even now we'll get into, as we go on, there is some criticism already of how commercialized it is. And I feel like if maybe they had a network deal, like it would be even worse, perhaps. But I don't know. That's just conjecture. But it is surprising, especially now that they have big celebrities showing up, which we will also get into. I wanted to bring up that the statue for the award that gets given out was designed by Weta Workshop, which if you've watched the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, you will note that they designed the costumes and props for those movies, along with countless other credits. Greg, I want to ask you, in general, what do you think of Geoff Keighley and his career arc?
So he does come across as a very goofy but genuine guy. Like, I feel like it's finally turning in his favor a little, right? Where I feel like he used to get like endlessly made fun of. Like I think he's going through his industry glow up the past couple of years. Like he is very even some of his speeches at the Game Awards are very nerdy and kind of odd, but like, I want your opinion on this guy, but I also don't remember what was the thing he kept getting made fun of for. Like, what was the meme? Isn't there an iconic thing?
Okay, so this maybe works its way into my take on Geoff Keighley, which is also that I think he's geeky, but I do think he is genuine, and I think he really does believe in this project. I feel like it's very easy to have a cynical read on the whole situation. But what I distinctly remember is in 2012, he appeared. Was he with Spike at the time or somewhere else? Like there was this ad that he was in front of. It was like for Halo 4, I think, and it was like the back of like everything behind him was lined with Mountain Dew and Doritos, and it was basically the joke was that like this guy is like such a sellout, you know, like he's just selling Doritos essentially, and it was like they called him the Dorito Pope and all that stuff.
Really?
But it's like, yeah, but it affected him, like the whole thing, and he's like, this cannot be what my life is, what my life amounts to. And
wow.
He had this whole epiphany, it seems like, that he wanted to really lend some I don't know, just like a little bit more integrity to the whole medium, and have this, you know, Oscar level event to celebrate. Like I think, in my opinion, like they celebrate the medium a lot more genuinely than some other big award shows.
I mean, that's definitely true. I mean, he also hosts something called the Summer Game Fest in LA too. So he does a lot. I think he definitely loves video games and is being genuine. And I think,
which may surprise some of our audience because we are very cynical, but I think he's the real deal personally.
That's true. So do you want to move on to the nominations process?
Yeah, let's go right ahead. So TGA utilizes an advisory committee with representatives from Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, AMD, and several publishers. They do not directly partake in the nominations process, but rather select games news organizations that can nominate and vote.
So that's actually, if you're not a sports fan, that's actually very similar to how Major League Baseball does this, where like sports journalists voting for the Hall of Fame, like Cy Young Awards, they involve like sports journalist folks to do it. So it's very similar. It's
like indirect. Yeah. Notably, esports are also specifically handled by their respective outlets. So presumably you are getting a more of a specialized take there. Game expansions, seasonal content, downloadable content, remakes, and remasters are also eligible across all award categories. Now, let me ask you this. If that's the case, why did Silent Hill 2 remake get snubbed? Like, Geoff, what's going on there, buddy?
So, like, I think expansion should be their own category. I'm okay with remakes, especially with how massive remake projects have been the past 7 or 8 years. There've
like
been,
full overhauls, yeah.
But I do think on your Silent Hill 2 subject, I think what's number one, I agree. Like, I think it was snubbed for almost everything except voice actor. And just so you know, like by the recording of this episode we're doing now, I was just at the Game Developers Conference. There was no love for Silent Hill 2 there either. So I don't know what happened this award season, like nothing.
Oh, I think I know. I think
late?
it's because of Konami.
Oh, okay.
I think because Geoff was very outspoken at the time about how they screwed Kojima. And I think there's still maybe no matter how much we personally loved that game, there may still be some bad blood, and who knows whether or not it's currently warranted. But I suspect that might play a role. This is just conjecture on my part.
Okay.
In any case, winners are determined by a blended vote between the voting jury, which comprises 90%. And public fan voting online, which comprises 10%. So how do we feel about this ratio and the overall process?
This is where something you and I might disagree. I was thinking about your prompt a little bit when I was going through the pre-production, and I think I'm okay with this. Where the reason why is it stops the awards from being like a popularity contest. Like, you know, the best selling game or the game everyone knows would just win everything.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm actually, this honestly it's going to be funny coming out of my mouth because of how much we bash games media, but I'm just less worried about media bias, and I'm more worried that lesser known games would just get ignored by mass populace voting. That's how I feel about this.
Yeah, you're correct. I think my take on it was that I felt like it's kind of the same problem as always, where journalists have incentive to self-center, like just on a larger scale, like, or otherwise kowtow to like advisory companies so they can be part of the jury, and kind of like that's maybe, even subconsciously that could be a factor. But to me, 90-10 feels right for an industry where brigading and review bombing is so endemic.
I didn't think about that till you said it, but think about how many times users and just angry gamers will just kill a game in user reviews.
Yeah,
so I have a funny
with Assassin's Creed right now, and
right, exactly. Yeah. I have a funny note in here. Can you imagine if one day we end up being a publication that could submit and curate nominees? Would you laugh?
We would make the finest choices.
We just nominate nothing.
It all fucking sucked. I'd like to nominate Grim Fandango again, a 26-year-old game. Anyway, shall we get into kind of maybe your experience here a little bit?
Yeah, so before you start, a reason why I was sort of tossing the idea around about us doing an episode on this, I feel like I'm going to make maybe a generality here. Most gamers don't get to see the behind the scenes or on the ground of what the Game Awards is. Right. Or I doubt if any of our viewers have ever been. I doubt it. But if you have, I'd love to know what you think. But I was able to go, and I went in person for the first time. So Riley is going to kind of interview me. And I think I just think it's an interesting perspective to have. What are you laughing at?
I was just going to say we should have got a special guest, that guy who crashed the Elden Ring speech.
Oh, the Bill Clinton guy?
Yeah. I was like, you were going to say, most people have it. We could
who's that guy?
Evidently it's you can crash it if you try hard enough. But
yeah, if he's out of prison, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So so you attended the Game Awards in person as a member of the press. And we need to get your perspective here. So how was your travel experience, and what were the accommodations like? This is the important part.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I just want to make it known to the fans that the Game Awards did not offer me accommodations for a flight or a hotel. Like, it was on my dime to get there. Mm-hmm. Like, my travel experience was very standard. I played the remake of Link's Awakening on the plane.
Oh, heck yeah.
Which I think, did you get me that as a gift? I think you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I appreciate that. And I also wore a Gamecube suit. I was very proud of that. Like, I wore a tux that was Gamecube colors, like the purple and black, like the logo. I was very proud of this.
Keeping the branding consistent.
Yeah, keep the branding consistent. I think the funniest thing was me handing people goddamn Gamecube business cards, and then I'm just wearing a matching outfit, which is, I thought that was the meme here.
Yeah.
But I think something important that I wanted to make known to the audience, the production value of the show was huge, and it was good. And if it isn't noticeable at home, like, it was very impressive, like, visually in person. Like, the orchestra was amazing. The stage changeovers were amazing, which you probably didn't see because you're watching commercials. Mm-hmm. It looked great. It sounded great. And I think generally it was considered to be the best Game Awards so far in terms of the production. But I can also attest, because I was there in person, there were maybe one or two tech issues the entire night, like dead teleprompters, camera cut issues. It was more, I'll put it this way, it was more professionally done than you would think, especially if you make fun of Geoff Keighley.
That's a good way to put it. And I guess it makes sense if you're this kind of industry. There's a little bit more technically apt than not. Okay, so another very important question: what famous people did you meet? Were they nice, and what did they smell like?
Okay, so I feel like when it comes to quote unquote famous, some of these folks I think maybe gamer famous, or like, in the games industry, people would recognize.
Yeah, that's
them.
What I mean.
I'm not saying I didn't expect them to be nice. they were more like open to having a conversation with me than I thought everyone was. I mean, you never know, because these gaming events are so crowded and everyone's going at a million miles an hour. I just thought all the celebrity-ish people I met were very affable. Like,
you
and very.
You didn't get the Brandon Flowers experience this time.
We don't talk about that.
So everyone was very courteous and open to converse, right?
Yes, that was a good one. Yeah. I mean, I actually got to chat with several people. I got to chat with Alana Pierce and Rahul Kohli for a few minutes. We had never had a conversation in real life, although I did shake Rahul's hand at GDC last year for 2 seconds.
He's in Gears 5, right?
He's the Midnight Mass guy and like the Bly Manor and Hill House.
Oh, okay. All the Mike Flanagan stuff.
Yeah, it's that guy. So I did run into Ben Starr several times, the lead man of Final Fantasy 16. And I will say, directly answer your question, he's very handsome in real life, and he does smell very nice.
I love it.
And I've ran into him a lot, so like several times now, and he's a very nice guy. And I do want to do a little side note here. Ben Starr did do a wedding video for my brother. Like, I asked him if he would do a congratulations video, and he fucking did it. So if I know we took a sledgehammer to Final Fantasy 16, but Ben Starr is a very nice guy.
One for the intern. Love to hear
one for the intern. So I will go on to the next note I have, which I think our fans will think is very funny. I did meet Sam Lake and I spoke to him for a few minutes. And so he was just outside and I was there too. I'm like, I gotta go say something. So I went up to him. I told him how appreciative I was for all his contributions to games, which all of our fans may like eye roll me for. They think I'm lying, but I do think he's a very positive influence on games, even if like we don't like any of them.
He's taken his big creative swings. Like I said on one of those episodes, I was like, these are, even if I don't like them, they're earnestly made. Like, they're not cynical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. I also ran into, is it Melina Jurgens? The Hellblade?
Senua?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we didn't speak at length, but I talked to them for maybe 30 seconds. So
you were equally as polite about that game.
Oh, yeah. I feel like if the video of this episode was to go live, it's just us going,
I mean, she did her part, like she
wait a minute. Allow me to make a comparison. I just feel like in both of those cases, like Ben Starr did his part in Final Fantasy 16. I just think the game is bad. And like, Melina Jurgens, like she did a great job with Hellblade 2. I think the game is bad. But she did a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep rolling through this. This is another one for our fans. I attempted to have a conversation with Donkey several times. Like, we've actually met more than once. Like, we
met when you guys sang for him.
Barbershop.
PAX. Yeah.
But like, I met him at the Game Awards, which is a more like professional setting than PAX. And he's still, I'm sorry, like he's still like a mumbling mess. Like, you can't get anything out of this guy. Like, I was trying to engage him on Animal Well and, like his contributions to games. You can't get like 2 sentences out of him. So listen, funny guy, but I don't know, man.
That's the vibe I got. I mean, it's something that you wouldn't necessarily think about because all his videos, like, he's so emphatic and confident and, he's really, really saying his piece. And that's like Donkey alone to his own devices, but in a social setting, completely different. He was very polite. He loved my shirt. I was wearing a stupid Green Goblin shirt from Spider-Man. Nice. That he was a big fan of, but it was the same kind of thing, He's like, yeah, these two guys, they made this game all by themselves, and it was just like, oh, hell yeah, man! It was, he's good at what he does. He's good at making those videos, but
I mean, listen, maybe he's
not
just
everybody
not
can be as gregarious and whatever as us.
Yeah, so. Dude, I would say he's not an orator, but I do like his content.
100%.
I did also meet most of the nominees. like the Astrobot guys, like your Team Asobi, the Black Myth Wukong team as well. Sadly, I did not get to talk to Snoop Dogg or Harrison Ford because Snoop Dogg did perform. I mean, too bad. Did not meet 21 Pilots either. So Riley, why don't you continue from here? Because I think that's the majority of the quote unquote celebrities list.
I do have a quick, just because you brought it up, a quick question. Like, what was them? I mean, their success is so meteoric and surprising. The Black Myth Wukong team, what were they like?
I think both the Astrobot team and the Black Myth Wukong team, they're very quiet. Like, they were just very, I don't want to speak for them, very polite and happy to be here, which I guess was not the case for Black Myth Wukong once they lost, but we'll get to that later. Sure. But we didn't speak much. There's also a language barrier between myself and both of those teams, but we took a selfie together, and that's the extent of my conversation with those guys.
That's cool. So you didn't get to meet Harrison Ford. I was having the weirdest night of my life at the movie theater. There were some other extenuating circumstances. For the audience's sake, I do work part-time at a movie theater. We were projecting the Game Awards in the lobby. Through a comedy of errors, I got locked out of the building for an extended period of time. And I was running an errand, and I walked, when I finally get back in, I walk in, and who is up on screen but Harrison Ford, Troy Baker, and Todd Howard are on stage together.
Isn't that the strangest combination of people?
I forgot about the Indiana Jones thing. I'm like, what the fuck is this lineup? Dude, Harrison Ford and Todd Howard, two people I never thought I'd say in the same sentence.
Dude, and I think Harrison Ford was fucking hammered too. Like, he was a weirdo up there.
I think he was. He needed a little liquid courage for this event. So. I think what I'd like to ask you about next is, what was the general composition of other media personalities, attendees and audience members? Were people more genial, approachable? Was it pretty good bunch?
Yeah, it was more of a mix than you'd think. There was a very good mix of gaming media developers, content creators, and general audience. I'm going to make an interesting note here. This event did not sell out because there was a line down the street of people who were quote unquote crowd fillers to make the theater look full.
Oh, so, okay.
Like, there was a line of people, had to have been a few hundred people long, who were dressed up in nice outfits, and they were put in the front, or some, I shouldn't guess. I'm guessing they were put in the front, or what was shown on TV to make it look more full than it was. So this event did not sell out. I know that.
Okay. That's good to know too. So it's still, like very high production value, but still not like quite like the
place to be.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I will say this though, like some behind the scenes info, like the prime location was on like the right side of the Peacock Theater outside. Like there was a giant media tent. And that's where I met most of the folks that I mentioned above, like your Ben Starr folks and your Sam Lake folks. It was all near the media tent. Like, if you're going to the Game Awards and you want to meet people, you don't even have to go to the awards. Like, you could go to the Ritz-Carlton bar next door. That's where I met all the nominees. Or if you go to the media tent, that's where you meet everybody. And every personality was very cordial and more affable and open to talk to me than you'd think. Everyone happily gave me a few minutes of their time. So it seemed like people were happy to be there, was the overall impression.
Any good local eats?
So I've only been to LA a handful of times. I will say this, Little Tokyo was amazing. I thought it was very cool. I don't remember the name of the place that I ate there, but I liked it a lot. I also went to Mike's Deli, and I thought it was great. So it's a free endorsement of Mike's Deli, and that's what I got.
Sounds all right. I'll put those on my list when I take my inevitable trip out there. Okay, so some more fun stuff I'd like to get into. Notable announcements this year. I'm going to ask you, are we excited or nah?
Oh boy. Wait, be
So
careful. This is going to turn into one of those like IGN lists that people love and hate us for. We got to be careful.
Well, it's been long enough. I think we're ready to rip the Band-Aid off here.
Let's go.
Borderlands 4.
Not excited.
No, I could never get into these. And I did watch the movie a couple months ago. I mean, I allegedly, even if you do like it, it's a huge pile of dog shit. So
perfect.
Yeah. So Borderlands 4, I think, is like we need to get this franchise back in the good grace of the public after the movie. In any case, The Witcher 4.
Everyone in the room was really excited about it. I would say meh. Like, they did a good job presenting it. I was a little surprised that it was there, like in full force. It was a huge trailer. It was probably one of the biggest ones of the night. I would say I'll probably play it at some point. I have played all of them, but I would say fine.
Okay.
Do you give a shit?
No, this is another bucket list thing. If you actually were on a video call, if you look at the shelf behind me, I'm pointing at the box set for the books. So I'd like to maybe start with those and then get into the games. Okay, Okami 2.
I will say this, everyone went crazy in the theater when they announced this. I'll also make a funny note on when you were watching the TV version or the YouTube version, did they put the name on the screen? Because in the theater it was called Okami the sequel. Like, did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Like, on the stage, what was projected was Okami the sequel. I hope it's actually called that. That would be funny.
That's so funny. Have you played the first one?
Dude, no, it's in I have it downloaded and I do want to play it.
So I want to play it as well. That might be a good future idea for an episode. I remember starting it and there just being so much dialogue. And I was just like, be nice to get down to business at some point. But
I feel like my mom would say something like, a game about a dog? Like
a bunch of bullshit.
Fucking dog,
Greg, this is bullshit. Anyway, no, it's just kind of a big deal because it's like 20 years since the first one. And similar wait time is a new Onimusha game. You have any experience with these?
I don't. I would say I'm not excited for it, and I don't recall what the fervor in the room was.
I have some friends who were super into it. It was a very big franchise during like the PS2 era. One of our friends actually said that Sekiro kind of felt like it was taking some cues from it. So it's interesting. You know, this is another franchise that's been long dormant that got a little kick in the ass at TGA.
So before we move on, I'm going to say our friend Marvin is probably really excited for this game. He has a quote about Onimusha that I cannot say on air, and I'll just leave it at that. And then let's move on to the next one.
I hope he's looking forward to it.
Yeah,
they've been like remastering some of the old ones too, apparently.
Let's just say he had a certain experience while playing that game. So let's move on.
Oh my God, Marvin. Okay. So last but not least, Elden Ring Nightreign.
So I'm not excited for it, but I actually think this is one of the errors of the night. Remember I told you there are only 1 or 2 tech errors the whole night? Geoff Keighley on camera, maybe you noticed this. He said something like, and now we're going to show you the new standalone game from Software. And I'm like, oh, fuck, is this their next entry? But it's not. Like, isn't it just like a DLC? Right? Isn't it just like a DLC thing?
I think if my take on it is like, you've seen the trailer, you've seen like the gist of what this is about. It's kind of like a more arcadey Elden Ring, like a condensed Elden Ring with like a timer. Where it's almost like a Fortnite thing where it's like the map is like slowly like enclosed over like a round, and it is cooperative. And to me, it seems like so Miyazaki is not the director, and it seems to me they're just sort of like experimenting, just trying shit out, and it seems sort of like they're finally going with like the kitchen sink approach, because like there's footage of like the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3, and it's like, what the fuck is he doing there? It's just like, I don't know, just put everything we got in there. They're kind of just, I respect them a little bit for just going mask off and just being like, it's the guy from Bloodborne, like, figure it out. You know what I mean?
It's like, I feel like they're just kind of doing a boss rush compilation. Like, that's just kind of what it seems like.
It's not my kind of game. I could see people being excited for it if you were craving some more of the ring. But those were some big announcements. So this next segment, a kind of a rapid fire fun one. Mm-hmm. We are going to go year by year. We're going to see, do we agree with who won Game of the Year?
Okay, sure. Oh, for like the 10 years that the Game Awards has existed.
Yes. So okay. I will I'll list them out and I will end with the winner. And you're gonna tell me if you agree. So 2014, we have Bayonetta 2, we have Dark Souls 2, we have Hearthstone, we have Shadow of Mordor, and we have Dragon Age Inquisition. Do you want me to tell the audience who won, or do you want me to guess? Yeah, that's fun too. If you want to guess,
here's what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna guess who won. So I'm gonna guess that it was Hearthstone because it was a huge game.
Okay, you are incorrect.
What was it?
It is Dragon Age Inquisition.
Jesus. Okay, so I know you want to do this lightning round, so I won't spend too much time on this. Mm-hmm. Dragon Age Inquisition was fine. Mm-hmm. Like Nick and I have played all of these. It's just like, it's kind of a compromise of 1 and 2, and it's fine. Like,
every Dragon Age fan I talk to says that one's, it's fine.
It's fine. Do you have an opinion on who should have won in 2014 before we move on?
No, I agree with you. Like, I felt like Hearthstone was everywhere. Like, I feel like that should have been it, if anything, but I don't know. 2015, we have Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, Mario Maker, and The Witcher 3.
I'm going to guess that The Witcher 3 won because everyone just likes it more than me.
Yes, it won.
Yeah. Now, like, actually, this list is, I'm not going to say loaded, but a better year than I remember.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. Arkham Knight was this year, too.
Yep. Like, I mean, I'm going to make you pick between your children here. Like, do you think Bloodborne should have won, or do you think the 75% of Metal Gear Solid 5 that was awesome, should it have won?
I think you got to give it to Bloodborne. I
think so too.
I've been revisiting, and it's a lot more consistent than Metal Gear Solid 5 was.
2016, you want to move on?
Yes, let's do it. So 2016, we have Doom, the reboot. We have Inside, a podcast darling. We have Titanfall 2, another podcast darling. We have Uncharted 4, and we have Overwatch.
Oh boy. I'm going to guess, just because everyone loves it, that it's Overwatch.
You're correct.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, I don't disagree. Like, it was so popular. I would say, is it okay if I say, like, none of these are my favorite, even though I liked Inside? Like, it's just, none of these is like, none of these gives me like the, oh man, that fucking game rocked. Like, I liked Inside. I think we gave it a good score, but none of these are like, man, that was my shit, you know? I think we both gave it an A.
Yeah. No, I mean, we gave it a very good score.
In terms of like cultural impact, it wasn't really there though.
Yeah, I think you're right with that.
So 2017, I'm going to shake it up a little bit because I've been ending with the winner. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Okay. So for this one, we have PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, PUBG. We have Super Mario Odyssey. We have Horizon Zero Dawn, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, or Persona 5.
Honestly, it's a huge list of games. That doesn't mean I liked all of them. I'm going to guess that Breath of the Wild won.
It did.
Okay. Thank God. Like if it was if it was Horizon Zero Dawn, I think this would just be us like cackling blooming. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's I think like if I didn't know, it would be between Breath of the Wild and Persona 5. I think
Persona 5 like fucking ruled. The game was awesome.
I know like a lot of people played PUBG, but all right, 2018, we have Monster Hunter World. We have God of War, the reboot. We have Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, and Spider-Man.
Wow, actually huge year.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to guess God of War.
You're correct.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Man, like that. So more of a loaded list than I remember. I mean, I don't. We already know this. Like, I don't like Red Dead Redemption, but it was a huge fucking game. I mean, we also, I had my personal.
I could
redemption.
see that winning too.
Me too. It's hugely popular and it has sustained. I had my personal redemption and played Celeste.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Any opinion on this? You want to go on? I think I'm okay with the God of War choice.
Yeah, it felt like okay, we're gonna clean up the brand a little bit. We're gonna put a lot of production value into it. I think it makes sense to reward that. 2019. Okay, so we have the Resident Evil 2 remake. We have The Outer Worlds. We have Andy Sekiro and the Tornado of Money. We have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We have Control. And we have Death Stranding.
Wow. A lot of these are more niche than I thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I remember I would have been so mad if it was Control. So Control definitely did not win.
Yeah.
Was it Resident Evil 2?
It was not.
Was it Andy Sekiro?
It was.
Nice, dude. I'm guessing you're okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'd be okay with a lot of these. I think Control and The Outer Worlds are the only ones that would make me scratch my head.
Sure.
All the other games are really cool or popular. And I think that's what you said is testament to why these awards make me a little less mad than other ones, is that they go for those niche picks.
Mm-hmm.
So 2020, what a wonderful year it was. We have Hades. We have The Last of Us Part 2. We have Ghost of Tsushima. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first part. We have Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
It's got to be The Last of Us Part 2.
It was.
Yeah. Okay. So I forgot The Last of Us Part 2 came out during COVID. I forgot about that.
Very early stages.
I do think it's very cute how Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal were both nominated because they had the same release day.
Yes.
Which was the only cute thing to come out of March 2020. I'm not a Hades guy. Like, it's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke at length about The Last of Us Part 2. Not a favorite of mine either. Do you have a feel on this?
I think it makes sense that it won. In terms of the cultural impact and like this, it's the new season is coming out based on that pretty soon. Like if I had to pick, it would probably be Hades, just because like I did enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's not really my typical wheelhouse, but I liked it and it had a big cultural following. But I think either that or Last of Us make the most sense. All right, 2021, some unfamiliar territory for me. So we have Psychonauts 2, big highly anticipated sequel. We have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We have Deathloop, Metroid Dread, It Takes Two, and Resident Evil Village.
Oh boy, Vampire Mommy. Oh boy. It definitely was not Deathloop, and I also hated it. I'm gonna guess Metroid Dread, but I think I'm wrong.
It was actually It Takes Two.
That is so wholesome. I'm actually playing it right now.
Really?
Yes. As we speak, I'm playing it for the first time. And the guy who makes those, that guy's crazy. He fucking loves himself and games. He's I feel like he's like how do I put this? I'd say he's maybe an eccentric version of me. Maybe like if I went down like maybe a more wacky path, a more goofy path, maybe I'd be that guy.
Interesting.
When he was on stage announcing his new game at the Game Awards, Split Fiction, right? I think it just came out. Yeah, he's very emphatic. I actually played most of these. Deathloop, I hated it. Metroid Dread, I did not play it. Psychonauts 2, I really want to play. I did not. But I did play Ratchet and Clank. It was fine. Resident Evil Village was, you can listen to our episode on it. And what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I would concede, like, if they had made Resident Evil Village the game of the year, just because it felt like it was all anybody was talking about.
They did a good job marketing it, for sure.
Yeah. Or Psychonauts, just because it had such a long development process. But no, I've heard amazing things about this one. You're enjoying it right now, or?
Yeah. Sure. I do like it. I think it's cute. I don't think it's not like, I wouldn't say it's my shit, but I do like it, and I'm not surprised that people liked it. That's where I am right now. Okay. Do you want to move on to the next? What is it? 2022.
So we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We have Stray. We have Elden Ring. We have Horizon Forbidden West.
LOL.
A Plague Tale Requiem. And God of War Ragnarok.
Oh boy. I mean, it's got to be. I think I remember Elden Ring winning because of the kid running on the stage, right? Or the Bill Clinton guy.
Some of these recent ones are going to be a little easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean,
Elden Ring won.
I was going to say, like, I do think Elden Ring was deserving of this, compared to the others. Obviously, Horizon Forbidden West, we did not like that game at all. God of War Ragnarok was hit and miss. Stray was cute. I did not play Xenoblade. I do want to play Plague Tale. I just did not play it. Do you have anything else before we go to 2023?
No, and it's kind of like, for me, like, I don't think Elden Ring was their best game, but it was just nice to see Miyazaki finally take the stage. He finally got his flowers, like it was just really nice to see them get as big recognition in their sphere as they could. When he said, this isn't even my final form, basically, he's like, I'm not done. Like, this isn't my creative limit. He said something like that, where I want to do something even crazier next time. So I was like,
good for him,
dude, this guy's cool.
Yeah,
but no, it was a wholesome moment. Aside from the Bill Clinton kid. So 2023.
So I remember 2023 and 24. So let's have you go through them, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So these all just end with a winner. So 2023 was Alan Wake 2, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, the Resident Evil 4 remake, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Baldur's Gate 3.
So I do want to say I am so happy that Baldur's Gate 3 won. So, I mean, dude, Larian Studios has been making games forever. I remember when they kickstarted some of their games. I played some of their shit in high school, like 2008. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I think, was it at the Game Awards or was it with GDC? I remember I went up to Sven, dude, the president of the company. And I said to him, I'm so happy and proud of your company that you guys have gotten to the top of the industry, and that I first started playing your games with Ego Draconis. And he looked at me and said, kid, no one has ever said that to me. Like, no one has ever played Ego Draconis and told me.
That's so funny.
Very wholesome. I mean, okay, Alan Wake 2 is on this list, LOL, but everyone fucking loves it, dude. And I'm surprised. If Baldur's Gate didn't come out in 2023, Alan Wake 2 would have swept this, if you ask me.
I was surprised that it wasn't Zelda, believe it or not.
I don't want to play it. I'm not interested.
I don't, but I remember, like, everyone buying it up like hotcakes, or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
You know, like I think in terms of like just brand recognition, and that's another credit to these awards, is that Baldur's Gate is like slightly more niche than Zelda, but I do feel like it became this crossover hit where people I know who aren't even that into games are playing it. Like that's how you know. 2024, we have Balatro, we have Black Myth Wukong, we have Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we have Metaphor ReFantasio, and Astrobot.
So I would say this, like, the winner of this should have been Silent Hill 2, right? Like, yeah. I did not play Balatro or Balatro. I know people love it. I did not play Black Myth Wukong. We might play it. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Erd Tree is DLC. I'm out. Fuck Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a cash cow. Metaphor is the Atlas guys, and so I do want to play it. I haven't. I'm very proud of the Astrobot guys. I think having like a family-friendly, wholesome game win Game of the Year doesn't happen very often. Mm-hmm. Like having like your, very family-friendly platformer, and I'm actually playing it right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm proud of them. I'm good for them, but not the strongest selections, I think, in 24. I think I disagree with them, but what do you have on this before we move on?
No, yeah. Because I haven't played Astrobot, but I have a friend who has a kid, so it's like a really fun game for them to play together. A surprising amount of people play Balatro, which is really funny. It's just like this very manic card game, it seems like.
Yep.
Wukong seems cool. Erd Tree is DLC, as you say. So is this Final Fantasy thing. I was most intrigued by what is Metaphor ReFantasio or Fantasio? And I looked it up and it looks awesome. So
yes, the Atlas guys. I do like their games.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. So yes, so now we're all caught up. We can do a little follow up next year, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
I do want to get into final thoughts here, overall opinions on the show. Interesting prompt here. I'll start basically. So, do you think that TGA is a worthwhile inclusion in games culture? For me, I think on paper it's a good idea. In terms of celebrating and recognizing developers' hard work and cultural impact, rather than just looking at everything from a financial perspective. We've talked this to death. Geoff Keighley is a goofball, but I think he has his heart in the right place.
Yeah, I agree. So I think the production value of the Game Awards was massive. It was very impressive. I think it was a positive kind of breath of fresh air, a fun evening for gaming. Not just more misery and online discourse, which we sometimes contribute to. They had, celebrity presence, good categories. It was a good music production. Like, what I say about it is, like, it was good, man. Like, Geoff Keighley did a good job. The production team did a good job. And I think gaming could use optics that show it has a professional art form, and kind of like putting it on the same level as the Oscars and the Grammys, even if it's not there yet. Mm-hmm. I think for them, the optics of looking more professional is important at the moment, but that's what I've got.
Yeah. As a follow-up, that being said, there is some criticism about the ratio of advertisements for future games compared to the time given to actual award winners. How do you feel about this, and where else would you feel there is room for improvement?
So in person, it felt a little odd that accepted speeches were kept very brief and almost non-existent. There were a few moments in awards for longer ones, or like longer speeches for some of the bigger awards. But I actually think keeping it on message about upcoming games is the way to go, because it keeps people tuned in.
Yeah.
Like, if you knew that, the only thing left in the show was another award announcement, you might turn it off. Yeah. But because they may announce new games, you're going to keep it on. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good psychological approach. I think when it comes to being overly commercial, that critique resonated with me a bit less, because for me it kind of fills that void that E3 left, where it generates the hype for projects that I otherwise would have no interest in or knowledge of. Like, oh, what's this? This looks cool. And it's like, oh, okay, no, it's like it's basically putting the trailer like whereas for the past couple of years I felt like I was scrolling our games looking at like some YouTube ad for whatever game. This is kind of like, as it's part of a production, it's like it's kind of cultivating this experience for you. And I didn't necessarily have a problem with the celebrity guest showing up as long as there's a reason behind it. But I definitely share the assessment that their presence shouldn't eclipse time for dev side speeches.
I feel like I don't disagree with you. Like when you just sort of lap on the celebrity appearances, it kind of becomes maybe too obvious what you're trying to do. You're just trying to put makeup on this, whatever. Like, you know, I feel like maybe it depends what your goal is. If you're Geoff Keighley, like, is it better to have optics and appear with more legitimacy? If that's the case, then you got to lock in the celebrity endorsements. Like, I'm not saying Tom Brady was there, but you know, when you put Tom Brady and Travis Kelce in a vaccine commercial, people just watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it does happen. You know, you need star power. And also, if you have star power, you get sponsors, you get buy-in, and you know, it all kind of wraps together financially. I think he played it right, but my final thought is Harrison Ford was fucking hammered, and it was really weird. There was one more weird moment, actually. Do you remember when, like, was it the guy from Breaking Bad and when Laura Bailey, who was it, where they were like, I feel like he was kind of flirting with her on stage? You remember this?
No.
What the hell? Was it those people? It was weird. There was a weird interaction on the stage where it felt overly flirty and it was interesting, but that's all the tea I've got for now. That's what I got for you. Anything else, dude?
No, thank you for the tea and your time. And I guess maybe are you going to go back?
Dude, I think the question is, are we going back, dude?
I think we might have to.
I think
see
we
what
might.
kind of trouble we can get into.
Get a little show of force at the Game Awards next year, dude.
Yeah. Rub some elbows.
I think going in person was really neat. It was a cool production. I think everyone was very happy to be there. All the, you know, the professional folks in games are very nice to me. Everyone was very cordial and happy to talk. So I think it was a good celebration for games. And I hope our fans of the show liked our little sort of peeling back the curtain. And with that being said, that is going to do it for Goddamn GameCube. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.